These gentle somatic movements, based on the work of Thomas Hanna, should be considered as an important part of your daily routine. When done slowly and with awareness, they prepare your body to move freely throughout the day. Choose loose, comfortable clothing and a quiet space free of distractions. Remember, what is important is what you are sensing on the inside as you reawaken muscle control by engaging the sensory motor nervous system with your complete attention. As we progress through the movements, there will be quiet time for you to feel the effects of the movements in your body. While somatic movements are appropriate for any age or activity level, certain physical conditions are structural in nature and may require the intervention of a doctor or surgeon. If you are unsure, please consult your physician before beginning any new exercise program. Walking Soma Scan. Let's start with a walk and notice how your hips are moving right now. Notice which part of your foot touches down first. Are you hitting the floor hard with your heels? Place your hands on your hips and notice if it feels like both hips are moving under your hands. Does one hip move up as the other moves down? Does one hip feel stickier than the other? Now place the backs of your hands on the top of your buttocks with your fingers pointed down and the heel of your hand in the soft part of your lower back. As you walk, what do you feel under each hand? Does the hand of the leg that is taking the weight move up and out? Does this movement shift from side to side? Is there any sensation in your knees? In your low back? If you placed a finger in each ear, what is the sound of your feet hitting the earth? Does one leg sound heavier than the other? Is one foot dragging? Okay. Bring yourself to the mat and lay down with your legs extended and your arms relaxed at your sides. Imagine you're lying on a beach, lying in the sand. What does it feel like to be you? Bring your awareness to your heels. How are your heels making contact with the mat? Is it the same on both sides? Do you feel pressure on the outside of one foot or directly on the back of the heels? Does it feel like your toes are turning in or turning out? Now bring your awareness to your legs and notice where your calves are making contact with the mat. Is it the same on both sides? Is there space under your knees? How are the back of your legs resting on the mat? Notice your pelvis. Does one side feel heavier than the other? If you imagined a horizontal line between your two sitting bones, would that line be level? Or would one side be above or below that line? And what is happening with your lower back? Is there an uncomfortable arch there? Does one side feel more arched than the other side? And notice your shoulders, your arms, your hands. Notice the space between your shoulders and your ears. How is the back of your head resting on the mat? If you sense your body from side to side, does it feel like one side is lying on the mat with more weight than the other side? As if you were tipping over towards one side. And now bring your attention to your breath. How is the breath moving the body? Arch and relaxation. Bend your knees and let your heels rest in front of your buttocks. Not so close that you tuck your pelvis, and not so far away that you bring an excessive arch into the lower back. Take a second and experiment with the placement of your feet. Walk your feet close to your sitting bones and notice how that flattens your back. Now, walk your feet away from your pelvis and notice how that increases the arch in your back. Find the place where you feel your pelvis resting comfortably on the mat and your low back is in the neutral position. Place one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. Begin to breathe in and out through your nostrils, fully and peacefully, letting the breath move into your belly. Notice the hand on your belly rise with your inhalation, and try to keep your shoulders and the hand on your chest quiet. As you inhale, do the muscles of the lower back begin to contract gently? As you exhale, can these same lower back muscles relax to neutral? You might find yourself wanting to press your back down, but instead, let your back relax because you give it your full attention. Remember, somatics is not about exerting effort from the inside, but it is all about learning to take back conscious control of our brain-to-muscle connection. Now relax your arms by your sides. Imagine that your pelvis is a bowl filled with water almost to the brim. As you inhale and fill your belly with the breath, gently press your pelvis into the mat, letting your pelvis tip forward as if a few drops of water were spilling out of the bowl between your legs. On your exhalation, melt your back all the way to neutral. Continue to inhale and fill your belly, tipping your pelvis forward, pressing your tailbone into the mat, and spilling a few more drops of water between your legs as you arch your back. And then on your exhalation, let your back float all the way to neutral. You are pandiculating the muscles of the lower back, contracting them with your arch, and then slowly and consciously releasing them back to neutral. Make sure you feel this contraction of the back muscles. If you can't feel it, you can't begin to change it. On your exhalation, let your back melt all the way back to neutral. Notice, when you contract your back, your stomach must relax. Repeat this arch and relaxation a few more times, pressing the tailbone into the mat as you inhale, letting the lower back muscles contract, and then letting your back float all the way to neutral on your exhale. Now bring your attention to the front of the body. With your next exhalation, start a slow, deep contraction of the abdominal muscles. And notice how this flattens your back into the mat. Your pelvis tips backwards, and the drops of water begin to run towards your chin. Slowly release this contraction and let your pelvis return to neutral. You are pandiculating the abdominal muscles, first contracting them, and then slowly and smoothly releasing them. Repeat this 2 more times on an exhale, contracting the abdominal muscles and flattening your back, and then releasing the contraction and letting the pelvis return to neutral. Now let's put these 2 movements together. Inhale and fill the belly, letting the back contract and arch as the pelvis tips forward. Then exhale and let the back soften to neutral. Take an inhalation, and on your next exhalation, contract the abdominals and notice the back flattening into the mat. And then slowly and with awareness, release the abdominals and let the pelvis return to neutral. As you repeat this movement a few more times, notice that when the back muscles are contracted, the front is relaxed. When the muscles in the front are contracted, the back is relaxed. This ability to control the muscles in the center of the body is key to freedom of movement in other areas of the body. Repeat this arch and flatten 1 more time, and then extend your legs out onto the mat with your arms relaxed at your sides, and notice what you feel. How is the breath moving you in the center of the body? Arch and flatten with recalibration. Bend one knee and then the other, and rest your feet in front of your sitting bones with your pelvis neutral. Inhale and arch your back. Notice if you feel equal pressure on both sides of your pelvis. Or do you feel more pressure on one side versus the other? It is not unusual to have greater contraction on one side of the pelvis compared with the other side, especially if you have experienced a one-sided injury in the past. This will show up as your brain wanting to tip your pelvis into the contracted side. Let's see if we can even this out. Imagine that your body is a clock. The back of your head is 12 o'clock, and your tailbone is 6 o'clock. Inhale and arch your back, bringing more pressure onto the side of the pelvis that your brain wants to take you. If you can't discern a difference, inhale and come onto the right sitting bone as you arch your back. This would be like pressing into 7 o'clock. Exhale and let yourself melt back to neutral. Repeat this 2 more times on the same side. With your next inhalation, press the opposite sitting bone into the mat as you arch your back and then let it float to neutral. If this is your left side, you are arching into 5 o'clock. Repeat this 2 more times. Now, inhale into your belly, arch your back, and come right up onto the tailbone, or 6 o'clock. Exhale and relax back to neutral. Repeat this 2 more times. Inhaling right up onto 6 o'clock. Exhaling and relaxing back to neutral. Repeat this 2 more times. Notice, do both sides of the pelvis feel like they're pressing equally into the mat? When you've completed your movement, extend your legs on the mat and notice what you feel. Let's add the recalibration to the flatten as well. Bend one knee and then the other with your feet in front of your sitting bones. Inhale and fill your belly. Arch your back and press your right sitting bone and the back of your left shoulder into the mat. Exhale and relax to neutral. After your next inhalation, on your next exhalation, contract the belly between your left shoulder and your right hip, as if you were trying to touch the front of the shoulder to the front of the hip. Relax back to neutral. Repeat this 2 more times, and then extend your legs on the mat and feel. As you repeat this movement, let your head stay heavy on the mat. With your legs extended, how does the right side feel? How does the left side feel? Bend your knees and let's repeat this move, contracting in the back between the right shoulder and the left sitting bone as you inhale and arch, and then relaxing back to neutral. Inhaling, and on the next exhalation, contracting in the front and flattening the back as you bring the front of the right shoulder towards the front of the left hip. And release back to neutral. Repeat this 2 more times. When you've completed your movements, extend your legs on the mat and notice what you feel. Is there equal pressure on both sides of the pelvis? Is there equal pressure on both sides of the shoulders? How is the breath moving you? Arch and curl. Bend your knees and place both hands under your head. Let the weight of your head rest on your hands. And let's begin to explore the arch and curl. If you find this position of the arms creates tension in the shoulders, place a pillow under each elbow to support the upper arms, or continue to do the movement with your arms relaxed at your sides. Inhale into your belly, pressing your tailbone into the mat and letting your low back contract and arch. Exhale and let your back float to neutral. Inhale, and on your next exhalation, contract the abdominal muscles and flatten your back into the mat. Once your back is flat, fold your elbows inward and curl yourself up, bringing your elbows towards your knees, being mindful not to pull on your head or neck. Slowly release back down to neutral. Let your elbows relax back to the starting position and feel the openness in the front of the chest. Repeat this movement slowly and with awareness. Inhaling into the belly, pressing your tailbone into the mat and letting your low back contract and arch. Exhaling and letting your back float to neutral. Inhaling, and then on the exhale, contracting the abdominal muscles and flattening your back into the mat. Fold your elbows inward and curl yourself up, bringing your elbows towards your knees, being mindful not to pull on your head or neck. The point is not to touch the knees with your elbows, but to allow the back to lengthen as you contract in the front. You are recreating the red light reflex of stress and worry, and then releasing this reflex as you melt back down. Notice as you curl up, that long abdominal muscle that goes from the pubic bone right up to the ribs contracts and then slowly lengthens as you melt back down. It is during the slow, smooth release that the change takes place in the sensory motor nervous system. When you've completed your movement, extend your legs on the mat with your arms at your sides and feel. How is the breath moving your body? Does your back feel more relaxed? Is there less space between your back and the mat? Does your belly expand more easily with the breath? The flowering arch and curl. Lie on your back with your legs extended. Bend one knee and then the other knee, and let your heels rest in front of your sitting bones. Bring all of your attention to your right arm. Feel that your hand, your wrist, your elbow, your upper arm, and your shoulder are all part of one amazing piece that can spiral like a rolling pin. Inhale, and as you exhale, roll the right hand, wrist, elbow, and upper arm in so that the back of your hand faces your hip. Allow the shoulder to roll up and inward along with your hand. Now slowly inhale and roll it all the way out. As you repeat this movement, notice what is happening in the center of the body. To roll the arm inward is to contract the chest. Do this 2 more times at your own pace. Inhaling and exhaling and rolling the arm all the way inward until the back of the hand just touches your hip. Inhale and roll the arm all the way out. If it's jumpy, jerky, and shaky, try to smooth it out. On your last repetition, let's add an arch. Inhale and arch your back and press your right shoulder down. Exhale and sink your back down as you roll the arm inward and allow your chin to tip up towards the ceiling, going along with the pelvis. Let the inhale melt you back down. The front of the body softens and lengthens, the chest opens, and the arm rolls all the way out with the palm resting towards the ceiling. Take a second and notice the difference you feel on the right front chest and shoulder compared with the left front chest and shoulder. And now let's do the left side. Inhale at rest. Exhale and roll the left hand, wrist, elbow, and upper arm inwards so the back of the left hand faces your hip. Let the left shoulder peel up and forward and the chin tip up towards the ceiling. And now breathe yourself back to neutral. Continue this movement with the left arm and add the arch as you inhale and press the left shoulder into the mat. Exhale and melt and sink the back down as you roll the arm inwards. Stop here for just a second with the arm rolled in and feel the contraction in the front. This is the red light reflex. Now inhale and release the belly and breathe yourself back to neutral. Repeat this 1 more time at your own pace. Inhale and arch. Exhale and contract in the front. Now let's put these two together. Be mindful that you are not pulling your armpit towards your waist and using your side muscles. Rather, you are contracting the muscles in the front. The red light reflex is a contraction of the muscles in the front of the body as you slump forward, as if you wanted to pull yourself into the fetal curve to protect your vital organs. Bring your awareness to both arms, hands, and wrists. Inhale and arch, pressing both shoulders down. Stop at the top and make sure you feel both shoulders are pressing down into the mat. Notice how your palms face the ceiling as you press your shoulders down. Exhale and sink it down, rolling both arms, hands, and wrists inward, letting the back of the palms face the hips, the shoulders rise, and the chin tips up. Now inhale and arch, letting the arms roll out, the shoulders pressing into the mat and the neck lengthens. Continue this movement and let's begin to add the legs. Inhale and arch, and let the knees tip away from one another, sending the breath all the way down between the legs. Exhale and flatten, squeezing the knees together as the arms roll in and the chin tips up. Imagine a flower opening with the inhale and closing into a bud with the exhale. If you have a lot of breath control, you can inhale and open, exhale and close. Otherwise, come back to neutral between the movements. Keep your face relaxed. When you finish the movement you are on, extend one leg and then the other, arms relaxed at your side, and feel. What do you feel? Does your back feel more relaxed? Does your belly move more easily with the breath? Has the pressure shifted where your pelvis is resting on the mat? Take as much time as you need here to complete your own Soma Scan. When you're ready, bend your knees, roll onto your side, and carefully bring yourself to standing. Close your eyes and feel yourself in gravity. Shift your weight to your heels. Shift your weight to the toes. Shift your weight back and forth between the right and the left side of the feet. And now bring your weight to rest on the front of the heels and the balls of the toes. Make sure your knees are not locked. Open your eyes and take a slow walk around the room. Notice how the hips are moving, how the arms are swinging. Gradually increase your walk to a normal, relaxed pace. Take yourself into your day with this awareness of what it feels like to relax the back, to breathe into the belly, and to move with ease.